Alright, so today's story is about when a racist gets packed out and caught slipping. So basically, story goes, the homie Coffee and the homie Danny, they walking down one of these blocks over there by Mace Avenue. At this point in time, most of these blocks are full of Albanians. But they're not thinking of it, they're walking through the block, whatever. As they get the distance where they start approaching like Boston Road or whatever, and it's like kind of becoming no man's land for the Albanians, a Puerto Rican kid who desperately wanted to be Albanian basically says some kind of racial shit. Coffee looks back and he notices he kind of heard what the kid said, but he also saw like, 30, 40 Albanians on the block. And they were quite well known for jumping people. One-on-one fights usually wasn't their thing. I mean, even if you could get into a one-on-one fight with one of them, and you're the same age, the same size, they're gonna go get all their cousins and uncles and friends to fight you 25 on one or something. So, Coffee being like, I go to school with this kid. He's not gonna be with them. Most of these Albanian dudes that he desperately is trying to be like don't go to school, or at least don't go to that same school. So he basically goes to school. The next day doesn't see the kid. The next day doesn't see the kid. Then he finally sees the wannabe Albanian kid. Now this kid's a Puerto Rican kid wearing like a shirt with an Albanian flag on it, like. And the crazy thing is too is that at that point in time there was more racial animus between the Albanians and Hispanics in general, particularly Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, than there was with any other group. I mean, they were kind of like pro-Albanian, anti everything else. So it wasn't like they exactly loved up black folks or Italian folks or Asians or whatever, but for some reason they had more of an issue with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans at this time period. So it was kind of funny to see a Puerto Rican kid desperately trying to be Albanian. But anyway, the kid's walking down the hallway. He's got his little Albanian shirt on, looking kind of crazy and out of place. The homie Coffee's like, he's Dolo. Let me see if he's still on that same shit. So he follows him. Dude goes in the staircase. He handed one of my other homeboys his book bag so he can square off and squabble him down in a better fashion. He sees him, proceeds to pack him out, gets his book bag, dips. Now the same kid who desperately wanted to be Albanian, he couldn't just say, well, yeah, I said some racist shit and got my ass whooped. That's the way things go. That's how the cookie crumbles. No, he went and lied and turned Coffee into 10 black dudes. So he got jumped by 10 black dudes. So either Coffee just poof appeared some more people out of there, or he got multiplying powers like a gremlin or something. But anyway, he lies and says that, and they made up a lie about Coffee going on one of their blocks and threatening some little kid, a whole bunch of nonsense, right? All over this one wannabe kid who probably never joined their gang anyway because he's not Albanian. So now they're rolling deep looking for him, but they won't literally come on Allerton, because that would kind of be no man's land for them at this point, right? They can't really jump any non-Albanian on Allerton and it will go over well, if you get my drift. If they're like by Pelham Parkway, Mace Avenue, maybe the Pelham Parkway projects to a certain extent, they can get away with it. But on Allerton, Burke, or Gun Hill, that's a no-no. So they would walk around deep, but they would only go to a certain part of the street because they wouldn't cross Boston Road to go exactly there. But, needless to say, Coffee had to end up going back to school. He's got to go to school, got to eventually try to graduate or whatever. So an olive branch was put out there when one of the homies who was known for being a crazy dude rode up to their block, solo, but not solo, if you get my drift, and basically gave them an ultimatum. Like, look, your man said some racist shit. My man beat his ass. You guys are making up stories about him multiplying into multiple people. He's supposedly threatening little kids that nobody even knows who the kid is or if he actually exists, which was nonsense. and now you're running around 40, 30 deep, looking to beat somebody up because they beat your man one-on-one, who's not even a member of your gang, is not even Albanian. So it ended up getting squashed because they didn't really want to have like a real beef with like, you know, dudes that be in and out of prison and, you know, really on that. So it ended up getting squashed. And the Puerto Rican kid who desperately wanted to be Albanian, guess what? He never got to be Albanian. He never fell asleep, woke up Albanian. He, you know, so I don't know where he's at in life. You know, if he ever woke, you know, realized that he would never be Albanian and just went on with his life. But so that's the story about when Coffee packed out a racist dude who was desperately trying to be another ethnicity. That's also at the time was usually racist against his ethnicity. Like they would often use racial slurs for Spanish people and Hispanics or whatever. So yeah, and that's that story. And free the homie Coffee.